The Rise of Skywalker is said to have many different twists and turns as well as surprises in this film by director J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars content. So what's really exciting about Episode 9 is that we do know that this movie really is going to deliver when it comes to all of the different twists and turns and the reveals coming our way. That's going to make us view both The Last Jedi and The Force Awakens in a different way as well. Now these past couple of weeks or so we've been learning a whole lot more about this film, and when it all comes down to one of the concept art descriptions, this is where things begin to get very exciting for Episode 9 for the characters of Rey, Han Solo, and even Luke Skywalker. Now specifically, what's really intriguing about all of this is that a description of Rey, Poe, and Finn on board of the Millennium Falcon, where it's described that they are on a path to the exotic world, that is also the location of the exotic city and the Dark Prince. It's described that Rey is walking around the Falcon as both Poe and Finn are inside of the cockpit, where Rey is described to go underneath the floor panels of the Falcon, where she discovers many secrets of Han Solo. It's described that eventually Rey discovers something that Han kept hidden away, that was handed down to him by Luke Skywalker. It said that Han Solo was the only man Luke could trust during his travels to the first Jedi Temple, and that Luke had given Han a handful of his Jedi students' belongings to Han Solo in order to keep them safe. Han was Luke's only choice as he couldn't track down Lor San Tekka. The belongings included a bag full of Jedi relics and artifacts that were considered to be very ancient and date back thousands of years ago. Some of these relics consist of Jedi rings, kyber crystal pendants, and even a strange device in the shape of a hexagon that appears to be made of glass. Additionally, it said that Luke had given Han some of Ben Solo's belongings, including his Jedi robe and other personal items of his son that Luke could not keep since it reminded him of his failure. So I want to go over a couple of parts about this and why it does indeed make a lot of sense. Now, we do know that this movie is going to be a very emotional film and that there's going to be a lot of callbacks to the characters of Han Solo and Luke Skywalker in a very unique way. Now, the fact that Rey is going around the Falcon and pretty much comes across all of these different belongings of Han Solo that he kept a big secret that was actually handed down to him by Luke Skywalker consist of these artifacts that are thousands of years old that were eventually handed down to Luke Skywalker's new generation of Jedi, where once they were killed off by Ben Solo / Kylo Ren, Luke Skywalker collected all the artifacts and gave them to Han Solo to hold on to them, at least for his time over in the first Jedi Temple. Now, this is all because Luke Skywalker could not track down Lor San Tekka. It really does bring one to question on whether or not Lor San Tekka went into hiding in a very similar way in comparison to Luke on Ahch-To, and that may be the main reason as to why Luke Skywalker could not find Lor San Tekka. In case you guys have no idea who I'm talking about, that is the old man that gets killed in the very beginning of The Force Awakens. So we do know that Luke and Lor San Tekka were very close with each other. They helped out by pretty much, discovering all these different pieces of Jedi lore and Jedi artifacts over the years. And you can really see that the connections that J.J. Abrams is really trying to make in this movie. So these big secrets of Han Solo, of Luke Skywalker specifically, also involve the personal items, the belongings of Ben Solo as well. So everything that we saw in Ben Solo's hut, every little item that we saw is what was collected by Luke Skywalker and eventually handed down to Han Solo himself. Now this is all because Luke Skywalker did not want to look at this because it reminded him of his own failure, of his very own nephew that turned to the dark side of the Force. So somewhere in the Falcon we have Ben Solo's cloak hanging on the bottom of the Millennium Falcon underneath the floor panels, which is where a lot of this stuff is stored. And it does make a lot of sense because as we saw in The Force Awakens and in Star Wars A New Hope, you can lift up those panels and hide underneath them. So what I like about this is that it really does make one wonder, how did nobody really come across this? Because we do know that the Falcon was stolen numerous times. The Irving boys, we had Unkar Plutt, we had Duquesne, and others, that were actually pretty much a part of the Falcon as well. So we do know that this movie is going to have a lot of secrets like this and a lot of different revelations. It's going to make us view the characters in The Force Awakens in a different light. And now when you look at Han Solo in The Force Awakens, you can only imagine, what he's thinking about what he's actually hiding underneath the Falcon. Now, it does bring one to question, was this a smart move by Luke Skywalker to really store such artifacts within the Falcon itself, a ship that probably, is really going to be a big deal for, Star Wars as a whole, and everything related to the Star Wars franchise, and how everybody's looking for it? That's a big question for sure. So, one thing I also want to go over is that we do know that Episode 9 is really going to deliver when it comes to telling new elements of Kylo Ren's backstory, more so his childhood, and that's going to be a very interesting side of the story as well. Anyways, guys, drop a comment below, let me know what you think about all of this in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
From night to moon, we hear them moans again.